closing weekend of our exhibition, Unbroken, Krishna Reddy as Artist and Perpetual Student. In celebration of printmaker, sculptor, and teacher Krishna Reddy's centenary year, the exhibition delves into his life and the ideologies that influenced his practice. Beginning from Shantiniketan, he went on to become one of the first Indian artists of his generation to work and teach internationally. Guided by the philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti, he embodied a holistic understanding of life, of the individual's thinking and behavior in relation to the larger universe. This is reflected in his extraordinary prints, spanning themes of nature studies and microscopic views to figurative bodies. He practiced collaboratively with famous artists of the day, like William Hayter, an acclaimed printmaker at Atelier 17 in Paris. Here they pioneered the technique of simultaneous viscosity printing, introducing colors within the practice of intaglio printing. Today we welcome RM Palaniappan and Lina Vincent to discuss their journeys in contemporary printmaking. Primarily a printmaker, Palaniappan started his drawings and acrylic paintings soon after. He is also a photographer and has worked with digital and computer imagery. He was an advisor to Bharat Bhavan Bhopal in 1990, 92, 94 to 98. He visited France and studied also at the Tamarind Institute lithography, and going on to get a Fulbright grant as well in the US. He most recently curated major trends in Indian art, marking the 50th anniversary of India's independence. He currently lives and works in Chennai. Lina Vincent is an art historian and curator with 2 decades of experience in arts management. As an independent consultant since 2009, she has worked on multidisciplinary projects that highlighted plural approaches with emphasis on inclusivity and collaboration in arts engagement. The focus of her research extends to arts education, printmaking history and practice, and the documentation of living traditions. I'll hand it over now to Palaniappan.
Thanks for the opportunity. For the MAP has invited me to be in the closing ceremony of the Krishna Reddy's exhibition. I had 3-4 times I had a good interaction with Krishna Reddy. It was in 1985. 85, I was with him for a camp, for a workshop he conducted in Chitrala Parishad. I coordinated the whole program. So in that manner, I learned the technique, what he used it. But he always says that is not a technique, it is a process to understand it actually. That is a simultaneous color printing. It's a great opportunity for me to say a few things about that actually. After the slide lectures, I will talk about it. This is the my retrospective is going on in Chennai actually. It is started 15th. So I am inviting everyone to be to see that exhibition. It's a cross section of my 45 years work actually. From that, few slides I brought it. As like as anyone, I also started. I went to the I came down to Chennai to study architecture. I also interested in art. I studied art. And when I was studying art, I was very particular about I wanted to be like old masters. I practiced a European style of watercolor, European style of paintings, drawings, and one of my masters was Vijay Mohan, who was my class teacher, first year and second year. And there was a big movement, it's a Madras art movement, everybody was practicing with the drawings actually. So I was also practicing drawing as very important to my work. So I was practicing, but one thing, since Vijay Mohan came from the United States after just he studied, from the college, he went for drawing classes for 1 year. After that, his way of teaching was a little different. The negative space and positive space, it went to my mind very strong at that time. That was one part of it actually. So I started going through a lot of books and all the Western masters, great masters' works actually. Because of that, it influenced my work very much. Next slide, please. It is all my third year work. I mean, few works that I will show you. Next, please. Next. Next. It is not in order, but it is 1985. You just go in order, whether it will come in order or not, I will find out. Next one, please. Okay, this is the landscape of the same period, 79. Next one. Next one. All 79, 78. See, in 79, when I was thinking about my composition, I started working with more of mechanical drawings, and the geometrical patterns was very predominant in my work. I mean, this is all 79, my graphics. This was my first painting in my classroom composition actually. It's a dancing steps on my birthday. This was my first work on the composition. It's a large painting. The flight was very fascinating to me. So this was the work, first, later these flying steps, I started working like this actually with topographically, how that flight shows, This is all 79 compositions. This is all 79. While when we are discussing with Lina, I will talk about all these kind of things. Let them first go through it, visually. This is also 80s. I started using mixed media in my work. Next, please. I started using type machine. I added a lot of collage materials also in this period. That influenced in my next works, 80s. All this work in 1980s. You should see that what that time it was Indian art. It was totally different. And even the abstraction means it's a different concept. I started working with a more conceptual. So I will, when the Lina discussing, I will tell about it because Lina has to go by 6:30. So I was, unfortunately, I didn't bring my slides in a way they want it actually. So this is all not in order. I mean, it is in, it was in 86, 87. This was our organic space. This is all the prints. This is all it came from. This was 1980. From that calendar series, I started working like that. War film influenced me like anything. See, when the warrior goes into the fight, he makes that in the mind. The whole building is a very transparent actually. So. In my work, when you are going through it, psychology also play a very important role. Psychology and physical, the way of seeing the work, with physical and psychology, they both are working in very predominant in my work. This was my first lithographs in 1980. Here only I started the Flying Man series. Then I reduced the head and wing itself express the band flying. So I started reducing, it's all etching. So this period I was working with more on color, black and whites, black and white and etching. And this period also many drawings I did. And many drawings are there also in my retrospective. And also Mr. Alka's, the Art Heritage, they have more than 64 drawings of this kind actually. More on the head and wings. This particular time, I made a lot of my work with like a book pages, So it's a blow up of the books. Next one. This time I started working with printing ink on the gold sheets, and I started using enamel as part of the drawings. Here only I started, when you are walking in a float space, you are creating a drawing on a float space. Same way the flight moves, it creates a three-dimensional drawing. That's why I started working on that. And all the newspaper materials, when you are reading it, it gives a pictorial picture in the mind. That's why I brought, all these kind of, whatever you are reading in the newspapers, it gives us some kind of abstraction. That's why, I started using all those kind of as a chart forms. It is, the chart also I created by myself. Nothing from lifted or anything. From this particular period onwards, I started putting a seal. So I wanted to express everything authentically. So I put seals like a space drawing research center. It has some reason, because why I put the seal and the name of Space Drawing Research Center, because the Leo Corbusier has started the center called Carpenter Center. So anybody can work on that the title. So same way, I thought of people can work on the same in the title, Space Drawing. Then later I was so possessive, anybody comes, they copied my work also. I was very possessive too. From this period onwards, I started writing on top of the prints. That's a collage, not only collaging, and I put a seals, I put a lac seal, and drawing also, it's becoming predominant. It expresses the flight movement. Here I started working, readable material upside down. You can see, you can read it, Here I started using musical notes as for the movement. All these years, for 1979 onwards, up to till now, I'm working all in my painting or composition or in, even sculpture. Everything as a movement as a part of the, movement is a predominant movement. And how the movement is happening psychologically and physically. And this is the calendar. Calendar is also moving. It has that's what I brought, and all the films that I added because of the kind of creating a sensitive These works are there in the Rotterdam Museum. One of these work is there in the Victoria Albert Museum. This particular series of work. I don't know, its color is very jarring, but it is a very soft tones of it. The projection or This is a Navagraha series. I mean, I put it in the Hindu temples. When you are going in the southern part, people do walk around that the Navagraha. That's 9 planets together. We used to put in the same pedestals. So in that concept, I made in 1985. I made many works of this kind actually. Same thing. This period, it is mainly I did with the color and black and white. So all I use the viscosities a bit. That's what I'm here. This is a work I did. First circle I made it with Mr. Krishna Reddy, the first one. That was in 1985. After that, that concept, because people do talk about many things without experiencing. That's one is a planet. That's why planet I kept it for my work at the beginning. Then in the Hindu temples, when people used to walk around with a lot of sculptures, 63 Nayamas were there. People walk through. I want to bring that experience. For that, I made this work, 2 years continuously. When you are keeping together these circles, people do walk without seeing it. Just pass through within a second. When you are keeping only one work, they used to enjoy it. I want to bring that experience in my work also. I exhibited 2-3 places. This is there in the 2-3 museums collection, in the West. Later I started doing it. In my work, sometimes, the physicality, the physical way of seeing the things becoming predominant. In 1990 to 97, my drawings are more on physical, the forms. The metaphysical is becoming a little, subsumed. Next one, please. Next one, yeah. This was in 1984. I was using more on texture. This is like painting. Go quickly, please. I think it is finished, no? Maybe you can go to the folder. The first folder. You can see 1 or 2 works, so of the circles, the detail. Quickly you go over there. Next folder, please. Okay. I think you can go for print. Okay, you can go. Okay. This is all the period between 91 to 97. Next, please. Okay, next folder. Prints are there, next folder. Maybe the US folder, last, okay. This is all these in an edition I made it in United States. This is a museum project. I made an edition of 30. This was my first visit in 1990. All other things, I made it in 1993, second visit. Okay. Maybe sculptures, few sculptures. Yeah. This is my little reason. Yeah, please, quickly. Uh, you can go to the Berlin series, Berlin also, yeah. Okay. Okay. Berlin, I made three exhibitions for after my Berlin visit. One is the photography, another one is the photography with the drawings, then third one is the prints. I mean. Very recently also I made like this actually. I made thousands of drawings like this actually. From that, I developed certain things. I made some graphics. This is my recent portfolio based on the chapters 2 of Berlin. I made 12 prints with these actually. Close it. And that my recent painting you just showed it, then we'll close it up. I mean, sculpture, then, that 2007, Berlin, new folder please. New last one. Quickly go, I mean, first one. This is all my recent works actually. This is, I had done it in 2009. It has some value of the political values, because India is not, signing that treaty of when it was there, for global warming actually. So we protested actually because we don't want to sign it for, that treaty, that draft, it was there for, restriction for our research in nuclears and other things. So we didn't sign it, and it became big issues, and 3-4 months continuously it was there in the newspaper. That affects my mind actually, so I started doing, this is the drawing, the doorway was the drawing of Michelangelo. I collected long back when I was there in the college. So in that, I made that my sculptural kind of things, in the center. So it stands India, also me. Nobody cannot go this way or that way. That's why it's completely failure. So after that, the second treaty we signed, India signed. So in that, I made many drawings, many paintings also, like these kind of things at the time of 2009 and 11. Next, please. Quickly go on. This Way of the Warrior series also I made many in the 2001 to 2000, because this time I was in trouble with my organization, Lalit Kala. They transferred me and mental torture. Something it was going on. So my drawing was slightly changed. Quickly go. It's all 2018-19. These works I done during my Korean visit. I was there in Korea for 5 months, and at that time I made. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing all that work with us, and I'm sorry that it was rushed, but it was so wonderful to see. Now, we will speak.
What to speak, what to start, and that's right. It's okay.
No, but I think it would be great if perhaps we could have some of the work maybe running in the background, because then people can get to see some of the work as we speak. So I think that one of the things that I would like to say first is a big thank you, because I think many of us...
My pleasure, actually. Maybe next time when I'm coming, I will come with a proper...
No,
so that people can see properly,
No, I think they'll get to see and hear you as well. Thank you, I think, from all of us who are also in the audience, many of us printmakers who have been able to work in the many studios that you have set up across India. And so for that, I think it has made a huge difference to us. But right now, to go back to your work, and particularly what you said about the aspect of psychology as well as the physical expression and interaction with a piece of work. If you can talk a little more about your conceptual development in creating those series of works.
Okay. For me, what it is actually, what you people saw in my work, it is not the picture, how you enter into that pictures and how you are seeing it. That is a very, very important. Psychology plays a very important role by seeing anything actually.
Right.
It is not that physical aspect of seeing that line. For me, for example, philosophically also I do bring it certain things inside my work. See, life starts, for example, when I started working, the first, how that line comes in my work, because the whole Madras school was in a line actually. Everybody was, all the senior artists like Vasudev sir and Bhaskar and so, everybody was doing a very, very strong lines was there. But without line, you cannot see any work internationally, from the prehistoric period to these days. The line, why that Madras school is having that line then? So it has some speciality. Then, I started understanding, everybody was talking about the why line. Then I found, there is abstraction in the line, the Madras school. You can see external space. External space means the complete universal space, I can say, or physical space, external physical space also. It is part of the work actually. Some of the areas, incomplete drawings will be there. So automatically the drawing will take the external space as part of the internal, and internal space will go, flow.
Right.
So that line, it is becoming purely abstract. But, of course, it has some reference of figurations. But that is what my understanding, first understanding. So when I started understanding it, then, my subject matter was very different actually, because from the beginning, war films and, the mechanical aspect of seeing the things, mathematics, I was very good in mathematics. So all it influenced my work actually. So that is why I'm little different from the other people.
Right.
And also wherever I go, either printmaking or anywhere, I do see the things in a very different way actually. I never see it just what is happening. I do penetrate inside. I try to understand the science behind it actually. That is what is happening. And also inside aesthetic. It is not the aesthetic of very beauty. What is the beauty of that? If I take a photograph also, it's the same way. I will try to, I have thousands of photographs I did. Most of the times, I never exhibited also. Only few photographs I exhibited. When I was seeing the click, That was a very different. Inside, I do put it something in my mind. That reflects in my works a bit. That's what the composition also, little different. That makes me to draw more than the drawing what you saw, free drawings. More than 45,000 drawings I made it.
Oh God.
It's a complete books. So many sketch notebooks I did it. I never exhibited. When I started working in a little larger size, or it's like a musical modulations. Some of the things that I used to lift it from the old drawings. Then I used to manipulate and draw more and more. Then it comes away. That's what it's you're seeing it away. But my recent works are the 2 lines, 3 lines together. It goes some areas, it touches some. So that is also kind of a philosophy. The life starts and ends somewhere actually. It's like your life and my life. Somewhere we are getting together and somewhere we are going. So the same way, turning points are there. That is why all my lines, it reflects the human relation, related with our life. I think.
Yes, sir. And that makes beautiful sense, particularly considering your drawings as well as the sculptures that you showed us as well.
That is what the line also, for me, earlier drawing, it was a metaphysical line actually. So all my drawings, you are seeing through the windows. So external space is becoming the universal space. I can say universal space or infinite space. It's becoming part of my work actually. Yes. So my recent works are very confined space within the life. So once I started thinking about, I wanted to see the light inside actually. So that, I expanded the light, then color came inside the line actually. That is why, it is not only I pushed it, what you call as what I say, it is not. It comes on its own way. So I'm enjoying it actually.
Yes. I would like to ask you about your relationship with the Matrix, because now we are...
What is that?
The Matrix. Now we are celebrating Krishna Reddy and we're talking about viscosity. So you were one of the pioneers in terms of how the matrix itself was treated and how you have brought those images out. So if you can talk a little bit about your experience with viscosity, of course, but how you developed your images with the plate, with the matrix.
Yeah. In 1982, 83 and all, I was working with the black and white. I had a lot of problems in a color at the beginning. 83, when I started working with the color, I was not able to make it successful because when you're using any roller on top of the plate, it will be a color. And because the people are talking about the viscosity, I also tried with the 2 rollers, 3 rollers, nothing works actually in a proper manner. So what happened, that also gave me a lot of introductory to my mixed media prints. I started cutting the print, I started scratching the print, I painted on top of it, all these things, nonsense I did that time, with understanding of the print process and enjoying that, freedom of the artist.
This was in the 80s?
83,
Okay.
83, 84. And I made a small plate. I made a beautiful plate. It's like a jewel. The plate is like a jewel, but print comes in a very different way. I'm not able to make a proper way of printing. Every time colors differs, and sometimes very beautiful, sometimes it's nasty. And everything I started using it on. See how I started using the print because of my drawings.
Right.
So whether the drawing is becoming very important or color, that's is a dilemma. It started actually that time.
Okay.
So only in that time, there was a camp. They are organizing. Parishad has organized actually. So Nanjundra has called me for that camp, and also suggested me to be the collaborator coordinator to the whole program. So for mixing color and grounds and all. So in that manner, I started interacting with Krishna Reddy. Krishna Reddy was the main person, conducting viscosity print, and 30 people around the southern region, they were taking part in it actually. So since I was making a print for Krishna Reddy, after a few days, Krishna Reddy, I asked a lot of questions to the Krishna Reddy. How you are bringing it this color and that color and what. No, he was talking about the science behind it actually, openly. Very transparently he was talking about science behind the materials. Right. How the color works and what is the substance inside and what the levels makes and all. So for me, it gives every time, I ask a question, then I used to paint my own plate. I have to etch it actually. And simultaneously I have to go to the exhibition. I will see something, I will come back to him, I will ask something. This was going on for the continuous, within the short period. He understood my energy level and also my curiosity. Then he said, okay, Palaniappan, you just make a print for everybody instead of we discuss. Then he started, within 2 days. And I made a print for every day, 2 prints for 30 people. That means 60 roller. I have to roll it actually. So, and he used to say like a Zen. Palaniappan, you put your body and focus to the roller. And as a meditative process, he was telling me, in distance. So, and add Palaniappan, you few drops of linseed oil in the yellow. Or like that in a distance. I was wondering, how come this man was telling from the, I was even a senior professor, how come, he was telling from that corner, by hearing the sound he was telling. Then I started understanding there is something, the science behind it. Then I started seeing it inside, how the colors are. That is why I learned actually. That is why I learned the viscosity. And within 2 days, it went inside the body as me as a part of the printmaking. So I didn't do I didn't have any problem later. I was started experimenting a lot of other things. And later Krishna Reddy himself, what happened? In 1993, I visited United States. And then 90 also, once I visited, for a courtesy, I went to, at the time of New York visit, I visited 3-4 places. In New York visit, I visited him also. Okay. At Blackburn, Robert Blackburn also, I met him. In that, he introduced 2-3 great professors, and also they invited me in a later period, actually, to the different exhibitions. That was the first situation. In 93, I got a call from somebody, some professor. Krishna Reddy has introduced, because they invited Krishna Reddy for a workshop. Krishna Reddy got an accident and he didn't go. He came from, I think, from Paris. He got some accident for the leg and he was not able to move. Then he suggested those university people, Cincinnati museum people. They said, one Mr. Palaniappan is there and he will be a better person, and you invited him. That's why my second visit was there to the United States, teaching in the various universities. And it's a great job, and and it's like replacing him. But it's happened. It's happened. I went to Cincinnati Museum. I went to Kansas State University. I went to the Tamarind Institute also for making a print. It's all edition making, and Indiana State University. I went to all for demonstration. I went for demonstration. That's what I went there.
Right. This element of experimentation is something also that has been deeply inspiring, I think. Because when I think a majority of us who are interacting with printmaking know that there are certain rigid techniques, editioning, and what is called a print and what can't be called a print. But you really experimented widely with mixed media as well as digital means of making prints, combining them together. So can you speak a little bit about that?
See, my family, were most of my family people, including my father, brothers, and all from the, either in the computer or in the printing process. So I know the printing process very good. In the sense, in a deeper level, I know it. When I was making a print, each and every print comes in a different way. Even that editioning also, when I was going through, for even Cincinnati people, they made a edition of 30 prints. For that, I gave a demonstration. After that, that printer made a print for me. 78 prints they made it. Out of that, I curated. Even when I was curating, all the 30 prints have a little differences were there. Okay. That was there, I checked with the Krishna Reddy also. These things have been, yes, Palaniappan, it is, because, there only I also found, the psychology is also, the play is played a very important role. Because when you are rolling, if your mind is not concentrating in a proper way to the center of the roller, and physically, you are not clean the roller in a proper manner, the print will be different. It will be one and the same. But it is a science. You can make 100% similar print. I made it also. 1 or 2 times I made it. But slight variations will be there actually. It's not like full variation, slight variations. But you can make it. So in that manner, when the changes are happening, why not? It is my print. Then I started cutting the print. I started writing. Then I stitching. Then I putting a seal. Everything I started working on that particular time onwards. So that freedom I enjoyed. I don't want to get restricted with that particular, print,
Yeah, the
the
rigid
version has
guidelines.
changed in my work.
Yes.
Also, astronomy played a very important role, and searching for infinite played a very important role. In my, I mean, it's all the day-to-day happening. It is not like that is it is all there in my work. It is a part of the works. The psychology plays an important role, and World War films it reflected in a different way. I mean, in the daily sequences, I used to connect it actually. Like a World Trade Center is falling, I was there along with Anupam Sood. And when it was falling down, I was seeing it. I was in a medical leave. Then I started scribbling something in the newspapers. All the political leaders, talk about the terrorism is becoming the title for my works actually. And my scribble is becoming my drawings later. So I do connect like this actually. Not connect, I mean, it's connected. It's connected. It's a flow with that, I mean, the whole thing. I mean, I never, I allowed the things to happen in my, I never restricted, I mean, And since I was very good in the college, portrait, full figure, landscape, I painted a Chinese technique of watercolor, Japanese technique of watercolor, and European way of approaching, in the watercolors itself. So I don't find any difficulties, it's like, it's okay, I can do it, I mean, anything. So later, once after that, I did only one commission work in my lifetime. That was, in 1993 or something like that. Adimalam sir asked me to do one sketch for one bank actually, their buildings, because I was good in drawings actually. Palaniappan, why don't you do it actually? They want, I mean, I cannot do it, I mean, why don't you do it? So I did for that only one. Otherwise, after my college period, I didn't go anything, portrait or full figure or landscape or anything, nothing. Still nothing. But I have a confidence on doing anything, anytime.
Right.
But my problem is, how to reach the infinite, the sense of infinite, space. And what is that, I mean, what is the extension of my the line in that manner, I mean.
Yes, this relationship to
for
time
me,
and
the philosophy
space.
is an important role in my work actually. Philosophy, psychology is a very, very important role in my, and conceptually I'm bringing it in my, works.
Right. Can you speak little more about The Flying Man? Because I think that series was something that really became international.
Yeah, The Flying Man, it came to my work. First work I did in whenever I went to Gadi for learn lithography. That was in 1980. I don't know what to do with that actually, but one of my classmates, he's very good in drawing. He made a very beautiful drawing actually. And that time I was working with all geometrical patterns. I don't know, how come this man is doing it? Then I also put my mind. Then the first work it came. That's why you would have seen that all workshop kind of things.
Yeah.
It came with the what do you call that cubistical form of atmosphere. The workshop only. I made that workshop in a cubistical form, just in front. For me, the reference is very important because I cannot take a mental reference that time. Now I was talking about a 1980. I cannot bring that mental reference in my work. It is impossible for me. I don't know. I need always some reference to do something actually. Because I'm good in a European way of approaching. So the first work it came like that. Then later, the first work I saw that one area the man is taking a print. There was a sheet of paper is there. In that that some drawing is there. In between the hip of the man, I put that man as a skeleton. In that, along with the machineries and all. So, in that hip always, moves are very important. This plays a very important, for movement, show that our movement.
Yeah.
So, from that particular portion, I put it like a bird flying with the wings.
Oh, so
Then
that's
second work, the flight with the man's head with the wings. Actually. That's what it came. After that, man heads and wing itself enough, there is no need of a body or anything. Head represents any human. If you wanted to say about me, the head is enough. The wing is enough to say, any flight actually, the bird or any flight or physics. So that is why I mixed up a bit. Once it is mixed up, because of my very deeper, way of involvement in the mechanical drawing kind of things, of those period of 80s, I put it many drawings of those kind of things. I mean, the flight heads and wings.
Right.
Very recently, it was there in the one museum in America. and they celebrated the moon landing, the 50th anniversary of moon landing. So the man who landed in the Apollo, the man who made it Apollo land mission, that man and myself had an exhibition. Mike, it's okay, thank you. Because for me, what's the problem is, I cannot use that,
You feel uncomfortable,
okay.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I'm
you
so
were
happy
talking
about it that because the man who made that Apollo machine, he was from the same university. So my work also, it was there in the same university. They put it together they celebrated over 6 months show it was.
Oh.
It's a great. In that show they made all this drawing, they put it up again. It was there in collection actually.
Right.
And circle piece also, it was there in the collection, they put it together.
So recently you have also been doing a lot of mixed media and painting work as well. So in fact at our camp last year also I saw your work, and you were also using some very varied materials. How did all those enter into your work at this point of time?
Yeah.
Ceramic.
See, I studied ceramics actually. When the life is having always a textures. Not only the movement of the our good and bad of the all movements, and life has many things. I mean, it has very different textures also. In that manner, I want to bring some textures in my work. That is why I added a texture. So when I added a texture, lot of problem I found, lot of cracks, otherwise I have to use a very expensive materials, how to do it. Then I started doing lot of experiment. Then I found ceramic materials, it works with that because ceramics is a plastic quality, It goes with that acrylic medium very nicely. So that also I have to process it. I mean, it is not like one way. And the process itself, it taught me a very different aspect of, doing painting actually.
All right.
That is why, I'm layering by layering, and different kind of textures came and different kind of, the formation it came.
Right. Now I'll move to a more professional space that we all recognize you for, which I mentioned before, the studios. I think a lot of us across India have been able to access technology, the machines, the equipment because of your vision when you were in a position with Lalit Kala. So can you talk a little bit about that and how you feel your contribution has been to this scene of printmaking in India?
At the beginning, no one recognized, except Art Heritage, at the beginning, Art Heritage, Alkazi came and they selected me for that exhibition. So he selected more than 85 works. He has selected a very small price he has given. Now they priced very high and they don't want to give it any single work. Even 5 works for my retrospective. For that, so many contract papers I signed.
Of course.
It's a thing. But it's a good thing, But they have preserved me, they love that work,
Yes.
Yeah. And that was the first things it's happened. Then later in then 85 onwards, the people started recognizing. So in that context only, I went to Baroda for demonstration. I went to even Bharat Bhavan. I went there. Then they gave award me. Then they put me in the committees. Right. So all these things happened after the 85. Yeah, up to 85, I was in a struggle. But I didn't make money or anything that time, but I got a good recognition after 90, because my work was little different in that period, so that people recognized me.
Right.
I went for teaching many institutions also.
And this whole idea that now printmaking technology itself has changed quite a lot. Like a lot of artists now have their own studios, but the community studios that you actually had a vision for, they are something that I think has driven a lot of practices. So currently, what do you feel about the printmaking scene in India? I know, we don't need to separate, but
No, it is all right.
How is it?
See, in printmaking in India, now community studios, it is okay, etching machine and all. Even I can have it and he can have it and now only, AI is going to be next.
AI.
AI is going to be there.
Yeah.
And when a computer was there, I also told many people, even they borrowed, when I was established, I gave one section, I told them to establish a print studio for the digital prints.
Right.
So since AI is going to be there, the printmaking department has to have a different vision now. They should not go back only the traditional things. They have to change it. And how it is going to play and how it's going to play a very important role. Within a 5 years, you just see it, the whole scenario is going to be changed in art actually.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I think that.
Whether that our sensibilities are there or not, that is questionable. That is all different. But whole surface things will be changed.
Yes.
And before that, we have to give that, our artists to play. That is what, it's very important. That Lalit Kala kind of institution, they have to think about it and they have to change that, the way of the idea.
Yes.
They have to break that rule. See, then, you can find hundreds of people will work there again. Because there is a good
Absolutely.
opportunity for them to explore the new medium. And they have to give, technical people also to help them to do it, collaborators. See, big buildings were there when Michelangelo or, so many people, they have done a big murals and all. Big murals and all. They have not done only, There are hundreds of people, they have worked,
together.
They put their ideas and concept. So the collaborators has to come forward to work with the artist. And nothing wrong in it actually. Nothing wrong in it. But because, we have to enjoy with the time. Time and technology
Absolutely.
and the medium, materials, tools, the tools changed actually.
Yes.
When we are not operating, it will be we are failure.
I think a museum like this is a very good space to talk about these things because these can be put in action almost immediately. There was one more thing that we were just talking about, sir, which is about conservation. And this idea, of course, that everything will change and so much is virtual now, but physical prints, whether it's paper, whether it's canvas, I think that we were talking about how the awareness of conservation is very limited.
Yeah, it is there. I found it when people asked me for a retrospective, then I've gone through my old works actually. Up to that, I didn't care because on the flow, I was working only in my recent works. When I was studying, so most of my prints got damaged. It's fungus, foxing, these and that, Then 2 years during the COVID period, I started learning conservation. But itself a very beautiful medium, the way of the working and, now even 40 years old newsprint paper drawing, I can conserve it, I can paste it with the tissue papers and with putting in the water and taking it, all that I learned myself with the, only the determination. I put my determination, I learned, I spoiled many of my drawings, it's okay, but I learned, I enjoyed the process, I learned.
So they're safe. They're all safe.
Some are safe. Yeah.
Since this has come and these are really, really fascinating works, it would be great if you can speak a little more about these.
This Alien Planet series, that is what I told you, The Planet series, it came to me, first work I did with the Krishna Reddy. I made it, because I don't know what to do with that because I have to work with other people also. So I have to work, I'm coordinating the other people's print and, etching and all those kind of things, Then I don't know what to do with that. I accidentally cut the plate. I started working because my fascination with the astronomy and astrophysics in the sense of, the universal space, I started using some kind of planets. I never thought about it, that concept also. When I started using, I started seeing my own work, then it speaks a different story to me. So people talk about the planets in a very different way. That's what, it is an interpretation, it came from the plate itself, Then I started thinking about many, many things. So 85 to 87, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any circular plate, no, nothing. Only one other plate I did when I went to Baroda, I made a demonstration actually for the students. That time I made a small plate. And Dumal has brought all the buffing machine, this and that actually, according to my requirement. It's happened. Then 88, I used to go to temple, but not for praying or something like that. I like to go. And Kabaleshwara temple in the Mylapore, I liked very much actually because the silence is very beautiful. And especially just in front of the Navagraha statues, people do walk around, I do sit in these, after I do watch the people. I do watch the people. They think, when they are going around that Navagraha, they feel like, everything is, and they are going around that, all the Navagraha in the same size. And they put in the same size pedestals, Why it's happening? Then from that particular point onwards, I started going inside the temple. There is a 63 Nayanmas. There is a big celebrations of 63 Nayanmas saint, the Saivite saints festival will be there. They used to celebrate such a, more than 50,000 people will be there in that area, one day, one evening. More than 40, 50,000 people. So I was there in the Mylapore area that time, 4, 5 years I was living in it. So it's all affected me. Then I was thinking about it, how to bring that to people who are not experienced. People are talking about, and people are, people, they are celebrating that Nayanma, Saivites, Nayanmas, and they don't know much about the Nayanma. There is different stories about that, how they dedicated their life to the God, offering the whole life to the God. Nobody knows it. People, only 1 or 2 stories, they know it. But every Nayanma stories are very different. And everything, it's happened in a different period. I wanted to bring that experience in my work. That is why I started working as a jewel. 2 years I was continuously as the sculptors made that sculpture. For every sculpture, it takes a time to finish it. Same way I made. I put it together. People walk through when I put it. There are 3 exhibitions I made it. One is, it was there in Amsterdam, Rotterdam I exhibited. Another one in the Al-Qazi exhibition. Another one is the Feroza Cottage Gallery, that's Cimarosa I exhibited. Cimarosa I exhibited exactly the row, and 3 together in some other place. People do go and see it, how this man has brought that color and all. They usually enjoy it.
So
when I put it together, the people walk through. That's what, in that same work only, it went to the Singapore Museum, that Seema bought it, this work particular.
Okay. And I
know very well, I'm sorry, I'm also pushing myself,
No, but
I don't know whether
it's been such a
or not,
privilege for me to be here, and I want to thank the museum as well as you, sir. But we can maybe open it up for questions from the audience, and if you would like to add anything. But yes, I'm very sorry that
No, please, you have to go. That's why I know very well.
But I'll see you at 10.
Sure.
A big thank you to Lina for having this conversation with Palaniappan. Unfortunately, she has to leave now, but we will be taking questions from the audience. Any questions?
Hello, sir. Fascinating presentation. I consider myself someone who started from the background of art and is now into science, being a techie and all that. So the blend of science and art is very fascinating. What I would love to know, you've tried various mediums, you've tried different processes. I'm sure you wanted to or want to experiment with more mediums, more processes, probably more a different style of canvas perhaps. What's in the future for you? What would you like to experiment with further on? What would you like to experiment with further from here? Whether it be a new canvas, a different medium altogether, or an entirely different process? Should I repeat the question? What I was saying was you've already experimented with a lot of mediums and processes for creating your art. What I'm wondering is, moving ahead into the future, are there other types of mediums or processes that you would like to experiment with and are looking forward to?
Always a medium plays a different role, actually. Medium plays a very different role, and evolution of our art also, it is, it plays a very important role. These two things, it's a combination, and one is me, my body, my experience, everything. Another one is it's a kind of fascination. The both things helps each. It's a complement each other to to bring that next level of the work. That is what it's happening in my work. All the time. Very recently, what happened? This see this after this retrospective is fixed. I was working with the painting, large painting for the major show at the. It's going to be there in Nature Mate. So I was working on it, but simultaneously this my retrospective also complete. It is fixed. So I have to do restoration work is almost is completed, but I have to assemble all the works together with framing and other things. It was going on. At that time, my mind was working. So much of pressure it was there. In that pressure, the writing, Mr. Sadananda Menon has agreed to give a write-up. So he started, he came to my place and he started, a lot of conversation was going on. This particular situation, my mind was working because of the discussion. I'm talking about that when I was discussing about my own work recollecting my past. When I was working on it, again I went back to the Germany. When I was there in the Germany, the war ended up the same, just opposite to Reichstag building. There I took a lot of photographs. As everybody, many people, but after me, that was in 1999, end of the 99. After that, a few days, it is becoming a parliament to the United Germany. So I took a lot of photographs. Then I used 2-3 exhibition. I had it. Then in continuation, I made drawings. That was the drawing I didn't exhibit. Only after that, I got a transfer to somewhere. I got an emotional, reflection in my work. Continuously it was there. So that drawing book, sketch notebook, and all those kind of things, I left it. Only the few drawings which were exhibited here and there, it was lying actually. So when I was showing to him, that same drawing, it reflects in my mind very differently. So after the 25 years, how it reflects in my work only the recent, the portfolio. The same drawing. I put it in a little different manner. I put a graph sheet. I put it in a little tonal value of the movements in between. The movement on another movement actually. Already the drawings, it's actual drawing lifted from the sketch notebook, enlarged and printed in the digitally printed. Then I started painting on top of it. Not painted, it is a painted and colored. It's like a movement. Maybe next work will be, not like free lines, maybe, lines with this, kind of this straight movements actually. Maybe. I was enjoying when I was doing it actually. So everything, it has an evolution. That is why I found, this, when you are not seeing this evolution in your work, you will be absent to the time. Absent to your own time. I'm not talking about time in general. You have your own time. The lifetime. That time will be missing if you are not thinking about it. So it is happening in front of, in between my recent exhibition works actually. So now I'm working something for my exhibition, but thinking something in my mind actually. So this is there actually. So in that context only, I'm thinking about how the AI is going to work.
Hello, sir. Are you bringing your retrospective to Bangalore as well?
I will try to bring it, sir. I will try to bring it, sir.
Thank you, sir, for that. What was really fascinating for me was seeing the sculptures and how the line got translated into that movement. And it seems so obvious when you see it, but I had never imagined it until I saw that picture. So how was your reaction and what got you to make those sculptures?
Yeah, that sculpture, that was my recent sculpture. That means recent in the sense, it was 4 years back I did actually. Then recent also I'm doing a little larger sculpture of the same kind of forms. See, when I was working in 2001 to 2007, 8, all free flow lines which have it's like a floating lines on the universal space. So the same line only I used it in my, the window, doorways, as a sculptural form again. So when I was doing a sculptural form, I never thought about it, I'm going to do a sculpture. But that time I wanted to, for me that is a sculpture, finished. I never thought about it, I'm going to execute it actually. Then in 2018, once I came from the Korea, I thought of maybe I can do some sculptures because I saw, it is a kind of in response to the few sculptures what I saw in the Korea. It is not a very good sculptures and like a pipelines. It's a curve lines. It's like Americans, what do you call in, what do you call that, 70s works. And they are celebrating with that. I mean, then in my mind, I wanted to celebrate my line into the sculpture. I wanted to have a challenge actually. So that is why it came.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Sir, do you have any advice for students studying printmaking right now?
What?
Students studying printmaking, do you have any advice for them, for upcoming printmakers?
It's a good thing. First, I'm telling you, you don't put it yourself with the bracket of printmaker. First, you break it. First, break the rules. Then you love now printmaking. You do it actually. You do, and you whatever the experiment it comes to your mind, you make yourself free and do it. I mean, in the sake of printmaking, making edition, don't make it. I mean, don't make it. If it is a area, love it, do it. I mean. And when you are doing it, whatever it comes to you, I mean, do it. I mean, you don't restrict yourself with the etching or, if you want to draw on top of it, do it. I mean, one on top of the photography and etching, you wanted to do it actually. It is nothing, Nobody, it is your work, I mean. Your work, I mean, don't restrict yourself, I mean,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening. Not so much a question as a compliment because I love mathematics as well. So when I saw your stuff, I'm a big Ramanujan person. So when I saw your stuff and I saw the timeline of it, it said 7980 and earlier than that. It just blew my mind because your work is gorgeous. I see that in a later time, 90s, 2000s, all your Damien Hirst and everybody doing, fancy stuff and making geometric patterns. But that early, that was, and it's beautiful work. Like, I can see how much, I have some background in art and I've been a muse as well. So I know how long that work has taken you and ridiculous. You would have spent like 5, 6, 7 hours at a go, forgotten food and sleep and everything. Thank you so much. Your work is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. But you are talking about the mathematics, that same man, same person, I'm enjoying that time, this time also, but this time mathematics comes into the kind of, see, I started enjoying a golden geometry. Most of my works from 2000 or maybe little earlier, 1982 also, the golden proportionate, I brought it up. People talk about a golden proportionate, then I started understanding what is a golden proportionate. Then the proportionate of the size, that became very important in my work, the size of that proportionate. So then, 4:3 or 3:3, where is the golden proportionate? Then, I bring the composition. When you are seeing very closely, the composition is the golden proportionate. Then that also I made it. Then, my recent works, the two different drawings, the free flow lines, First I do make one free flow lines. Then I used to make it as a geometrical and a way of expansion and, very proper curves and all I will do it. First one line. After that, second line, it will start and it will go in some areas and some area it will go. So second line will be a complement to the first line. It's like that, give and take of that. That is why when you are seeing it, and when they are projecting that, it will be, you can see it.
I have one more question. Have you ever tried with something? I'm a caretaker proud enough. So have you ever
question. I never thought about it actually going back or taking it back. It is not a question. I'm enjoying it. The free flow line I told about it, no? That is not a geometrical. That is it goes with the mind and do. And second one is I tried to implement it. See why it is the reason. The reason is, see my retrospective. I will tell about this. You know, it's a very interesting thing. I'm sorry, it's very, I cannot work with this actually. I can talk to you people loudly also. See, when the retrospective was, it was, I was not a problem with the training didn't come, and up to last minute I was working. Day before that exhibition, that training work was going on, 22 trains came and all. So I was designing also. I couldn't design, so I was working my own catalog. Up to 2 o'clock I was working. So then the people called me that everyone paint, the whole gallery, both the galleries, it was a fair, 10 people are waiting for me. I have to travel a long distance. 2.5 hours I was travel. 5 o'clock I reached. Within 5-6 hours we got the show. Retrospective. How the retrospective is, how important it is. So I put it, but it is a side, this different kind of confidence I put it. But it is not a good one. Now I'm suffering a little bit. See, but I didn't bring that catalog. But suddenly when I put his full mind and prepare that, the catalog, let's say, right up. I don't have any justification to that. I feel very guilty inside. Because I want to bring the catalog also. But luckily I didn't bring it because a lot of error I found last minute. I was changing here, there, I was not able to make it. Even the designer who was helping me, he said it was not really cheaper. But last minute I had taken a decision on whatever it is. I completely stopped. Then I'll go for my display because tomorrow is my exhibition. So people should not accept not having work in the work. And then I display. So inaugural, it started and inauguration time. I absolutely told one thing, error is part of error is the part of every action. I told the one word. It's an inheritance of every action. That is what it means. My title of the show was also exact kind of exploring with time. So when you just see connect these two words, it comes from the heart. It comes from the heart because the whole universe is getting expanded because of there is some error in the cosmos, Because of that it takes time. Because I'm on its own way. So there is no need of feeling guilty or anything. We do our work and nothing, everything is good. There one way it is instant. One way it is correct. One way we cannot take it as a grand. We have to work targeted things. Everything is not happening. It's not our life. The life is it relates with our cosmos.
We'll take one last question. Okay. I want to take this time to thank Mr. Palaniappan for that insightful conversation. And also to thank you all for being such an engaged audience. I want to remind you that the exhibition is up for another 2 days, so please check it out over the weekend. We also have curated walkthroughs for the same. Thank you all.